Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible force that seems to run our digital lives, the recommendation engine.
I mean, think about it. How does Netflix always seem to know exactly what you want to watch next? You finish a series and boom, right there is your next binge-worthy obsession. Is it some kind of mind reading, pure luck? Well, no. And it's happening pretty much everywhere you look.
Get this, a massive 80% of everything watched on Netflix is because of what their algorithm recommends. Just let that sink in. That's not some side feature. It's the very heart of their business. It's how they keep us hooked, month after month.
And it's definitely not just a Netflix thing. Hop over to YouTube, and you'll find that over 70% of the time we spend watching videos comes from those suggestions in the sidebar. The algorithm is basically our co-pilot for what we see next.
Now here's where it really hits home. This stuff has a huge impact on our wallets. Amazon says that up to 35% of its entire revenue comes from its recommendation engine. So yeah, this isn't just a neat little trick. It is a multi-billion-dollar engine that shapes what we buy, watch, and listen to. So what is this incredibly powerful force? Well, the best way to think about it is like you have your own personal digital butler. It's an AI that's always on, always learning your tastes, trying to figure out what you need, and helping you discover things you'll absolutely love, sometimes before you even know you want them. Okay, digital butler is a cool name, but what is this thing in, technical terms? Let's get a really clear definition.
At its core, it's an AI-powered system, and its main job is to sift through millions and millions of items, movies, products, songs, and predict what you specifically are most likely to want. And it does this by looking at your data, what you've done in the past, what other people like you have done, and what the items themselves are actually like.
Now, while the AI can seem like this incredibly complex, mysterious black box, most of these systems are actually built on three basic ideas. We can think of them as the three secret recipes. And here they are: content-based filtering, collaborative filtering, and what are called hybrid methods. If you can get your head around these three, you'll understand exactly how your digital world is being shaped for you. So let's start with recipe number 1. This is the most straightforward one: content-based filtering. The whole idea here is super simple. If you like something, you'll probably like other things that are similar to it. So here's how it works. The system builds a little profile of your tastes based on the features of things you've liked before. Let's say you watch a lot of movies tagged with action and crime. The system then goes out and looks for other movies with those same tags and serves them up to you. It's a direct match between your profile and an item's features. The perfect classic example is this: because you like John Wick, you should try Taken. I mean, it makes total sense, right? They're both high-octane action thrillers with a very particular type of hero. The system isn't just guessing, it's matching the core DNA of the content. All right, on to recipe number 2, which is a bit more social. This is called collaborative filtering, and it works on the idea of wisdom of the crowd. It doesn't really care what the genre of a movie is, it only cares about who else liked it. This approach really has two main flavors. On the left, you have user-user filtering, which is all about finding your taste twins, other people who like the same stuff you do, and then recommending what they liked. On the right, you've got item-item filtering, which finds items that are often purchased together, like a new camera and a memory card. So, to put it really simply, user-user filtering finds your digital twin and just borrows their playlist. It's how you discover stuff you might never have found on your own. Then there's item-item filtering, which Amazon pretty much pioneered. It's all about finding product pairs that just make sense together, based on what millions of other people have bought. But of course, in the real world, just one recipe is almost never enough. And that's why the big players like Netflix and Amazon all use hybrid filtering. They basically mix and match the best parts of both content-based and collaborative methods. This gives them way more accurate recommendations and helps cover the blind spots of each individual approach. Okay, so we know the recipes, but how does a system actually figure out if two people have similar tastes? Well, this is where we get to peek behind the curtain at the math that makes it all work. And the core concept is something called similarity. It's really just a score, a number that tells you how close two users or two items are. A high score means they're a great match, a low score, not so much. One of the most common ways to calculate this is something called cosine similarity. Now, don't get hung up on the formula, the idea is what's important. First, the system turns your ratings from movies into a list of numbers, a vector. Then, in step 2, it does a quick calculation to see how well those two lists line up.
Step 3 is just a little adjustment to make sure the comparison is fair, even if one person rates everything high and the other rates everything low. And finally, it spits out a single score. In this case, it's 0.85. Since that's super close to 1, the system knows, mathematically, that these two users have really similar tastes. It has found a taste twin.
So, now that we have the recipes and a little bit of the math, let's see how this all comes together in the massive systems that power giants like Netflix and Amazon.
The whole playbook really follows a pretty simple pipeline. First, they have to collect all your data. Then they store it safely. Next, they analyze it to find all those patterns and calculate similarity scores. And finally, they filter through millions of possibilities to show you just the handful of things you're most likely to love.
And what kind of data are they collecting? Well, pretty much everything. It's not just what you explicitly rate or buy. The digital butler is learning from what you click on, how long your mouse hovers over a product image, what you add to your cart and then remove. It even watches when you pause or rewind a movie. Every single action you take is another clue about what you like.
And you have to realize, this isn't some system they just build once and then leave alone. These companies are constantly, obsessively, testing and refining their algorithms. They run tests on old data, they do live A/B tests on us, showing one version to one group of users and another to a different group to see which one works better. And of course, they look at our direct feedback too. It's a cycle of endless improvement.
Which brings us to a final, really big question. Look, these systems are incredible. They're designed to make our lives easier, to help us cut through the noise and find things we'll enjoy. But as these digital butlers get smarter and smarter and better at predicting our every move, it's worth asking ourselves, how much of our choice is really our own anymore? And how much is just being guided by the algorithm?